the team that made scheduler for USC. And I'm Ruan.
I'm Janet.
I'm Douglas.
I'm Rick.
I'm Kathy.
And I'm Joyce.
So, yeah, we're all students of USC, so we've all had to either plan out a 4-year schedule or we're all currently doing it. But as of now, USC doesn't actually provide any official app where you can plan out your 4-year schedule easily. Web registration is okay for like short term up until like the next semester, but there's no real long-term view of your next 4 years. And same with the schedule of classes. It's pretty tedious to just switch back and forth between tabs, trying to figure out which classes go with your major and where you can fit it in with this semester or next semester.
Right now, you have to keep track of all your co-recs and prereqs, and you have to keep track of all your credits, and you have to do that virtually manually, which can be kind of a pain and rather tedious. And it's difficult when you're doing that to keep in mind the large picture. So when you're going to be graduating, if you want to fit in another major or minor, if you want to study abroad, all these questions involve a lot of shifting and puzzle piecing together that can be really difficult to do by hand.
Scheduler for USC is our solution to this problem. It's not going to plan your academic career for you because we know that every student has his or her own specific requirements as to what major or minor combinations they want to do, if they want to spend a semester abroad or pursue a progressive degree program. Instead, Scheduler will help you save time when you plan by keeping all of your requirements organized so you're able to see exactly which classes you need to take for each degree, which semester you need to take these classes, or which semester you want to take these classes. And it will keep track of the credits that you'll be taking each semester so you don't go over your limit. And you're also able to save the schedule and email it to your advisor for their consultation. And this is all on one page, and it's very easy to access. You just log in with your USC email.
Okay. This is what our application looks like. As you can see, all the major requirements for the computer science major are listed on the sidebar here. And the suggested 4-year schedule is listed out here. And you can add classes by clicking on this button. And here you can also add another semester. So this will help you keep track of what classes you've already taken, and if you're thinking of changing majors or adding a minor, you can see if classes you've already taken fulfill those new majors requirements.
So a brief overview of the technology we used to create a scheduler. So we basically use the mean web stack without using Angular. This is basically using JavaScript to help us achieve our dynamic features on our web page. So you can see that there. We also make use of the Google OAuth API so that we verify it's a USC student who's logged in, and we can keep track of his or her schedules. We have the USC Schedule of Classes API, which is public, and you can use it to access a list of classes and the prereqs and other details like that. It's on Heroku right now, and you can actually fork it with this link right here on GitHub.
Okay, so things that we've done since Sunday. We have our social influence metrics. We have over 250 likes on Facebook, and we opened signups for beta last night, and since then there have been over 70 people signed up. And we have collected feedback from roommates and classmates and just people and students around USC. So some of the things they said were that it's really tedious to look for prerequisites and co-requisites, and they really liked the class wish list that we implemented. And they want us to take into account classes that are only offered in fall and spring, so we are going to update our parsing to look for that and include the list of requirements for not really majors, but pre-something tracks like pre-health, pre-law, pre-med. and sync recommendations for GEs based on course reviews. Okay. So in terms of our development, we have our database set up now. We had a little trouble, but we fixed the parsing. We have populated the database with all the classes, and we implemented a splash page, which is how people sign up for beta, and it allows people to, well, I'm logged in right now, but this is what it would look like if you weren't logged in. You get to sign in with Google, and it'll say, thanks for signing up, and we've added you to our beta list.
Alright, in terms of future goals, well, we've definitely taken our feedback into account, so we'll be including multiple majors and minors, since right now we can only take one major and one minor at a time, but since there are especially people who are doing double major or even like triple major, that's when scheduling becomes really important. And such as GEs, well, they said they want to incorporate like GE reviews and when classes are typically offered. And as of now, it only shows the categories, but we'll be having a list where you can choose from the GEs that are typically offered during that semester, and also keeping track of your diversity requirement. And we'll be integrating, hopefully, like with course evaluations, which are offered on the official USC website, and also Rate My Professor. So like, let's say you want to take honors physics with Vickers, he only offers it in like certain semesters. Or if you just want a good teacher. We'll also want to import your STARS report. That way when you log in, it's not just like filling it in by hand, but you can just log in. It'll take all the classes you've taken so far and also the classes you need to take, and that's how we'll be getting your major requirements in. And we'll also be taking into account like study abroad, so if you want to take a semester off, how you'd schedule around that. Or progressive degree, so you'd have more semesters, and just how you schedule that in.
And that's it. Thank you. Yep.
Okay, so I've got kind of a few questions. You mentioned several features, and first of all, I just want to say that like I completely see the need for this, and I understand how frustrating web reg can be, and how it can be like really good to have this out. But I'm curious, what exactly do you guys have implemented up to this point? What features do you have? So you mentioned you can add a class, and it shows kind of the initial process.
You can add a class, you can add a semester, and we have the computer science related requirements in there, and we have parsed the data for the computer science and the electrical engineering classes.
Okay. The interface looks pretty good. Are you able to like click and drag a box like a class from one semester to another or anything like that? Okay.
It's kind of like a quality of life thing, so we pushed that a little further back.
And we've also, since on the web registration, you can't really like see major requirements, since we'll have a database populated with all like major requirements, and also just like what prerequisites and co-requisites are required for each class. So that would be like a nice feature besides that's not offered on web registration.
Okay.
When you say you're parsing the database, the schedule,
Oh yeah?
the requirements, where is that data coming from?
Oh, well, we mentioned we have access to the public schedule of classes API. So we just kind of, we get it in a RESTful way. We get the data, and then the parsing was mostly for the prerequisites and co-requisites, since they don't store them in just like CS 102. They have like actual like sentences, so that was where like the parsing came in.
So if the schedule or the prereqs change, you guys are able to respond to that?
Yeah, as long as the API is updated. So it'd be accurate and updated.
So if CS decides to change 101 to, say, 103, you guys are responsive to that?
Yeah, if like, let's say, yeah, because it's actually up there already. They have 101. They haven't actually removed like 101 from the list, but they have included 103. So if like 201 needed 103 as a prerequisite, it'll say 103 instead of 101. So yeah.
Sorry, I was also just curious, you mentioned a couple things you did since Sunday, and it sounds like you have, because there's a lot of you, I imagine, a lot of input from your friends, a lot of likes on Facebook, things like that. I was wondering how much of that specifically you implemented? Any specific user requests that you got to change, update?
So we have taken the feedback and we've put plans for what we're going to do in the future, but we honestly haven't had much time this weekend to actually implement anything.
Okay.
So when you said that people sign up with does it work?
It works.
Okay. You said that people sign up with their Google account, right? I'm wondering, when a student signs up, do you have plans for the app to incorporate what you've already taken, so these things are already summed, or do we actually have to input all this data that we've had in the past already?
I mean, I think you're talking about like, oh, well, our idea is to have like stars report imported. So if you use your official USC ID, we're hoping that we can somehow work with official USC staff to just be able to import your stars report.
Okay.
Either that or.
But at the moment, if someone signed up, they would start with a blank slate, right? And then they would add whatever they needed.
Yeah.
And so I think you said you have computer science requirements up.
Yep.
Have you also considered graduate courses? Or
Yeah,
it seems like undergrad so far, but.
Yeah, actually the schedule of classes API has all of the courses, so right now we're just working on getting all the courses into the database, but there are going to be graduate courses up there.
Okay, so far it's all CS, including grad classes.
Yeah, in the database, not actually on the website yet, but we'll be implementing that
Cool,
soon.
thanks. Thank you.
Very last question.
And did you mention that all the prerequisite data was coming from the schedule of class API, and from the schedule of class API, it's giving you a sentence and you're parsing that?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah.
Have you considered like long-term feasibility in terms of like, let's just say the structure of the sentence changes and how your parser?
Actually, I think how we're doing it right now is we're actually looking for specific words like prerequisite or co-requisite, and then using regular expressions, the pattern like CSCI.
Yeah, so
some number.
even if the sentence structure changes, as long as they have the like CS 102 in it, that's how we find it. So the
And does it also work in terms of like, you could have prerequisites as long as you do one of the two classes?
oh yeah, it works like that. We have like a thing, if it finds an order, then it'll find that it works. Yeah.
Okay, thank you to our team.